Hey guys, it's Millbee here with the other ending to Shizune's route. Will this be somewhat more satisfactory? I don't know. So, obviously we had the Comfort Misha bit. This is where it all changes. I chose to Comfort Misha, then I rewound time. Fortunately, time would not stand for such a thing. And time has re-unwound itself, and it's gone like, no, screw you don't get a happy ending. You chose Comfort Misha first. So time has yanked me out of my time stream and thrown me into the Misha, thrown me back into this decision, and it will do so over and over and over again until I go back to my first choice, which was to Comfort Misha. So now I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to skip ahead and cut out the bits that you guys didn't see, and there's a lot of repeating stuff, but we'll skip ahead to when the new stuff comes in, okay? Alright, so here we are with the depressing scene where Misha has a suicidal thought. Basically, there's a bit, the dialogue sort of changes here for a part, and the ending of this chapter is different. So she says, "Well, thinking wouldn't it be fair if I just died? I've done something terrible, unforgivably terrible." Misha presses herself hard against the fence at her back as if hoping to slip right through it. Now in the other one, you grab her hand, but this time, you don't say that. You don't do that. Don't be stupid. I'm surprised by the tone of my voice. Sorry. I realized I hate it when I'm left feeling regretful over anything, even though it's impossible for me to not end up regretting something. Yesterday I did a stupid thing. It's probably part of the reason why I'm here right now, so I could figure out if I could maybe make it right somehow. Do you feel that way? You said you've done terrible things. You can try fix them. Hee-chan, isn't that? I know she's thinking that I'm saying this more for me than for her. No, it's not. I just think that killing yourself is the biggest regret a person could end up with. Well, you'd be dead, so... Hee-chan, you're so dramatic. Whether she was serious, I'll never know. I don't try to find out. She lets out a sigh and closes her eyes as if going to sleep. I feel that the dangerous mood I was picking up from her has passed. The door behind us opens, the sound only barely able to be heard over the ambient breeze. I've been looking everywhere for you two. Is this some secret meeting? She walks over to us, leaning against the fence next to Misha, as if she needs to stop and catch her breath. Man, I'm looking so pale. I need to get sun. Might not help that the camera looks incredibly washed out. It's really weird. Like, my room is way more colourful. That couch is way redder than that camera makes it look. Oh well. What you gonna do, huh? I'm bored sitting in the student council room every day now, without either of you ever coming by. Taking some time off is fine, but this is just too much. Normally, Misha and I would be jokingly making excuses for ourselves at this point. This time, there's only silence. Shizune always expecting resistances, thrown off balance by the lack of it. A few seconds pass in an uneasy silence when Shizune breaks with an ear-shattering snap of her fingers, smiling as if to say, Eureka. Let's go do something together. Like what? Anything. We should go to the student council room first and figure it out from there. It seems like a trick to get us to do work instead. Very funny. It's not a trick, I promise. It'll be something fun. Misha contrasts the genial smile on Shizune's face with a lonely expression of her own. If Misha is really jealous of me for stealing Shizune away from her, then it would only make it worse if all three of us were together. I imagine it'd be like rubbing salt in an open wound, so I get the idea to let them spend time together. Terrible decision. I'm not so idealistic that I think a single afternoon to themselves will solve everything, but it might help. It seems like the better option than going with them, because my presence would definitely wouldn't help at all. You two can go have fun then. I'm going to go to bed early. You sure? It's barely past lunch. I told you, I don't feel too good today. I think I'm coming down with something. I thought that you said excuses like that won't work. She has me there. It's okay, but refusing someone's invitation is rude. I'll expect you to make it up to me. Shizune turns around and smiles at Misha and starts signing something that I can't see. I assume it's along the lines of, it looks like it's just going to be the two of us. That's good. See, that's a terrible decision. So that's the end of that chapter. So now chapter 4 starts. Now it's the same. It's exactly the same up to just after Jigoro and Hideaki come in, I think. So if you don't know what's going on, then I suggest watching the other route and then coming back to this one. Okay, so everything that's happened is everything was exactly the same right up to the part I took Misha, and you take Misha around the school and chat with her about stuff when you go out for the parfait with the two of you. So now everything that's happened up to that point, and then we come in here, and this is where the skip thing stops. So the skipping stops when it comes to new dialogue, basically. That's how you can make it work. The next day, Misha is back in class, although still looking pretty sullen. Not that I was expecting her to magically feel better. I would be asking the impossible, considering what happened. This time, it's Shizune who's out. At first, it almost makes me laugh that suddenly whenever one is in class, the other isn't. But thinking about it, there's nothing funny at all about it. In fact, I find it hard to concentrate on my work because of it. It could just be that she's sick. Or she could simply be skipping class. It could also be something more serious. And I'm tempted to ask Misha if she knows, but I end up doing nothing. Good choice, well done. I don't regret stepping in yesterday, scared that Misha would do something rash. But now I feel like I should give her some space. Eventually the bell rings, and Misha gets up for lunch along with everyone else. I decide to eat lunch in an empty classroom today, just not this one. Okay. Unfortunately, a lot of other students seem to have the same idea, so there aren't a whole lot of empty classrooms to go around. Finally, as I'm about to give up on the idea, I find a dark one at the end of the hall. There's Lily. On turning the lights on, however, I find out that this one isn't empty either. Lily's head turns in my direction, which freaks me out before I realise she probably heard me flipping the light switch. Oh yeah, she wouldn't need the lights on, would she? Hello? Hey, Lily, I didn't think anyone else would be here. Is that you, Hisao? Yeah, but you probably knew that already. I turn to leave, which prompts Lily to quickly speak up. Hang on a minute, I can't... Headphones? Headphones have stopped working for a second. They're still there, I just can't change the volume on them. There we go. I turn to leave, which prompts Lily to quickly speak up. You don't have to leave so quickly. We can both have lunch in the same room. As a matter of fact, I'd prefer to eat with someone else. Oh, Shizune's not going to like that. I'm about to ask her how she knew I was here to eat lunch, but brush it aside. She's psychic. It's just simple common sense, and I don't want to seem too easily impressed. I take a seat at the desk in front of Lily, after reversing it to face hers. I've heard that our minds fill in a lot of what we see based on how we remember seeing it once before, or our expectations. Mostly for efficiency, so as not to have to process everything you look at individually. Lily never seems to stop to question any noise. So I wonder, is it because her mind is filling in context every time? Or does she not care and just sort of accept things as they fall into place? On her desk, there are just a few cookies and a thermos of tea. She must be one of those light lunch types. I bite into my sandwich. Some of the ingredients spill out the back end. Yeah. We haven't spoken in a long time. I'm surprised you still remember my name. I must be very busy in the student council. It's different every week. Some weeks are pretty slow. Some weeks I consider taking a sick day. When I voice Lily now, she just sounds like a transvestite. A transsexual, sorry. Just like the male. Hey, how's it going? Hey, honey. Hold on. Lily, I need a second to catch my breath from inhaling that sandwich. How's it been lately? Unpredictable. I snap my fingers, which, from her facial expression, upsets her a lot. I think that you've been hanging around those two too much. I guess it's one of Shizune's trademarks. Personally, I like it. I ignore it. Her tone doesn't change even slightly, but Lily's mood is obviously dipped. Yeah, no, don't bring up Shizune. Doesn't seem like it would be easy to. We're trying to figure out how she can make it so loud. I think I'm damaging my knuckles. Even if it were loud enough to break the windows, I'd ignore it. I'm not a trained seal. I have that luxury. Are you still mad about that? I asked the question as carefully and diplomatic as possible. Oh god, it's like Hisao is just like a train of destruction and terrible social decisions. Although in the end, I'm only asking to satisfy my curiosity. No, of course not. Although I don't like Shizune. We were in the student council for a brief time. I heard. I wish you hadn't been so quick to join. I don't like the way Shizune runs the student council. Did you know that she's scared off most of the old members? That's why I think she tries to surround herself with people who don't oppose her. And they don't. It's like a dependency bubble. I'm sure that Shizune is aware of what Lily is saying. After all, I can remember her specifically denying it a couple of times, which I'd always thought was strange. They say that the more specific a denial is, the more likely it is that the allegations are true. In this case, I think I disagree. Shizune is the one subject on which her opinion could be called less than objective. Did you tell her that? Very often. Lily stops to polish off the last of her tea. I'm running behind on finishing my own lunch and take advantage of the pause to eat as much as possible. All of her friends are related to the student council, like Misha. I heard things are touchy between her and Misha. Did they have a fight? You were enjoying that, aren't you? Not really. Just lesbian lovers, you know. Is that so? Either way, there's no point in attempting to force them to make up. Always try to confront everything head-on is what Shizune would do, but it doesn't work in the real world. At some point, it's just being stubborn, not bravery or good intentions. It's a little general, don't you think? I suppose. What do you think is the best to have with tea? Cookies or scones? I like them both, in different ways. I couldn't possibly choose. I don't like people who constantly force me to pick sides or want to turn everything into a contest. I was wondering where she was going at that. We went a bit off there, but strong finish. Strong finish. Well done. When I joined the student council, I thought it would just mean helping everything run smoothly and helping people out, like being the class representative. Instead, every day consisted of having Shizune stomp around using Misha like a megaphone to talk about how he had to outdo the last student council and create more and more events and make them increasingly larger. But then the two of you basically want the same thing. All that stuff makes things exciting. I didn't really get it at first, but it's not some ego project. People like fireworks and soba huts, candied apples and dress-up days or whatever. The more the student council does, the more responsibility the school gives us. It means extra work, but in a way, it also means more freedom. You have the pull to do things like organize a big festival, and they'll think you're capable enough to handle it instead of just rejecting it instantly. Anyway, I know that too now. It's got its share of pointless busy work, but there are moments that they make it worth when everything comes together. It gives me something to do. If I were to just go to school day in and day out, I think I'd explode. Hisao, the time bomb. I think Yamaku is much more easygoing than other schools. Yamaku isn't other schools, though. I start slipping into another familiar mentality. In some ways, it's almost too easygoing. And if I were a different person, I'm sure that I would find how easygoing it was to be stifling. Though, in every other school, such easiness would be just the normal flow of life. Easygoing is good. Well, not for learning stuff, but here, the uneventfulness would be compounded. It would feel different, because I'm not a normal person after all. He's come back to this fucking train of thought. Wonderful. I'd be reminded of it every time I heard the blood beating in my temple. Seriously, it's like a broken record. Yeah, we get it. Your heart's bummed out, alright? Jesus. So I was like, hey guys, what's going on? I was like, yeah, it's a great time. Oh man, you remember that time? Hey guys, my heart is bad. Ugh. Here he goes again. Yeah, we know, Hisao. I'd feel patronized and weak, and my bitterness would only grow. Yeah, sure. The point is, I think I understand what it's all about now. You're really giving Shizune too much of a hard time. That might be true, but when it comes to how she treats individual people, she doesn't do very well. Fortunately, that one is a little harder to argue. Do you have the time? I'd like to go to class 10 minutes before the bell. Then you're right on time if you go now. Excusing herself, Lily leaves, and I sit listening to the clicking of her cane on the floor, fading into the mumble of other students having conversations in the other classrooms in her hall. I feel exhausted and completely forget that I wanted to talk to Shizune today. Good boyfriend. Like, man, I just forgot about my girlfriend. I was chatting with this hot blonde lady who was bitching about you. After class the next day, I instantly head towards the student council room to talk to Shizune. Even though she's in class, trying to cut her off and have a conversation with her near the doorway or out in the hall could be a little obstructive. Better to try and meet up with her at the student council room. I take my time heading there, getting a juice from the vending machine on the way. Oh no, this is going to go well, I can see. I bet Misha's told her. I also go over what I want to say to her in my head. It's nothing too important, only a few questions about upcoming events. The door is unlocked when I get there. Uh-oh, I can hear the music. I think the room was empty too if I couldn't see Shizune's bag perched on her desk, with the top of her head peeking from behind it. It looks as though she's built herself a little fort. Shizune gives away from behind her bag before picking it up with a finger and moving it out of the way. But after that, she immediately goes back to tapping her pen against the desk. Oh god, I feel like I've done something terribly wrong right now. Ugh, I hate that feeling. Staring into a checklist, as if it held the meaning of life in itself in it. What do you need? I wanted to see if there was anything I could help with. Like, all that over there. What are those? I point to the medium-sized stack of folders behind her, but she waves her hand dismissively. I can handle it myself. Then what about the elections? Also, where's Misha? Yeah, she knows. It's going okay. I told Misha that I was going to handle everything myself. Why? Shizune spins her hand slowly, working it between each of her fingers like a needle through a patch of cloth. No reason. Really? No reason. She signs it again for emphasis to shut down the notion that there's anything more behind it, but there is, since she's definitely not acting normally. What's with the silent treatment? Because she's deaf. Is the phrase? Oh yeah. What's with the silent treatment? Is the phrase that immediately springs to mind, even though it's hardly the time for humour. It does describe how I feel. We can't communicate normally, so I appreciate the few ways we can. To be shut out like this hurts. It's obvious that whatever her reasons, it's going to be pretty much impossible to talk to Shizune today. Beyond just being stubborn, she seems depressed. But with the way our conversation is going already, I don't see myself being able to find out what she's depressed about. Somehow, that only makes me want to find out more, and that means I have to ask Misha. The problem is, I don't really know where Misha goes in her spare time. After asking way more people than I should if they noticed a girl with bright pink hair around, and getting way more negative answers than expected, I finally find a couple who have seen her. By the time I reach the cafeteria where Misha has apparently been... Oh god, the music's back. This entire time, I've been around the whole school twice, and I'm very tired. I realise I've passed by her before and just didn't see her behind a pillar. Why are you better at finding me than I am at finding you? You were looking for me, Hee-chan? Who knows? I think it's just coincidence. You know, the whole point of coincidences is that they aren't consistent. Are you having a really late lunch? I didn't get to eat lunch. I didn't get to eat at lunchtime, so yeah, but not too much, so I can still have dinner. Did you want to talk to me about something, Hee-chan? I don't waste any time. Did you tell her about us sleeping together? Yes, yeah. The reason I'm here... Did you notice Shizune has been kind of moody today? I wanted to ask the same thing, Hee-chan. Well, except that she's been this way for a couple of days now. I see. You should know that, really, being her boyfriend and all. Terrible boyfriend. Hee-chan, do you think it's because of something I did? Do you think... Yeah, possibly. It's like you two have forgotten that this happened. Like, have you got, selective memory? You pistoned her, remember? Do you think I got upset at Shi-chan like last time? No, she seems angrier at me, anyway. I'm not lying, I really don't. Fortunately, my attempts to assure her of that don't seem to be going so well. In her own way, Misha is pretty stubborn too. Eventually, I just head back to my dorm. The last few days have been nothing but a continually frustrating experience, and they left me drained. I feel tired enough that I decide to take a nap, hoping that maybe I'll figure things out in my sleep. No? Okay. When I wake up, I feel more refreshed, but still without clarity. The only thing that has changed is that it's dark outside. From opening the window a little, I can tell the weather is still kinda nice. After dry swallowing my nighttime pills, I take a little walk to the vending machines. They're out of everything I normally get, so I mash my hand against the buttons until something pops out. Give me something! Give me something good! The lights are off in the main building, including the student council room. Just an offhand observation. As I'm thinking to myself, I hear a rustling behind me. I've seen this movie before, and that is a very ominous sound to hear alone at night. Oh, I'm gonna get murdered. Oh, it's Kenji. Oh, Jesus. He's gonna murder me. Luckily, it's just Kenji, and he wanders out of the bushes in an unusual cheery mood. Hey! What the hell? Did you just creep up on people at night and casually go, hey, a lot? No, that'd be weird. I knew it was you. I have extremely good night vision. Maybe it's because I'm superhuman. What are you doing here, then? I could ask you the same thing. What are you doing here, huh? I consider just telling him the truth, but quickly decide against it. It would take too long to explain. Howling at the moon. I do that too sometimes. The moon isn't out tonight, though. I barely even hear him, feeling a bit resentful at the interruption. I lied to Shizune through the teeth that nothing was wrong. Or to be more exact, I lied through my hands. And at that exact time, I was carrying on an entirely different conversation with Misha. That conversation understandably could upset Shizune. Oh, now you acknowledge it. But there was no way that she could have heard it. Even Misha's hands, usually signing all her thoughts, were completely still. Even if they weren't, I was standing in front of her, blocking them from Shizune's view. The only way that Shizune could listen in on that conversation would be if she could read lips. Pretty much the first thing I'd ask when taking sign language was about lip reading, just out of curiosity. It's not easy, nor is it perfect, so I'd never considered it until now. It would make sense, and the room for misunderstandings while reading lips wouldn't help. So, I realized I could use the cover of... I used to sit there like... In the night, Kenji's like, what are you doing? So, I realized I could use the cover of darkness to buy milk. Usually I only go out when it's raining, or I can shroud myself in a sea of bikers or tourists. This is much more consistent. I'm spending too much money on milk now, though. You seem kind of mopey, or out of it or something. Do you think too hard? Don't think too hard, man. A man has to be all about action. You can think about stuff all day, but changing the situation around by doing something is the best way. I do things like that all the time, where I'm thinking about it. That's why in middle school they called me Causes Many Problems. I thought it was cool. Sounds like an Indian name. Kenji causes many problems. They call him Kenji. Causes many problems. Or Kenji. Causes many problems. Running water causes many problems. Spiritual flame. This guy. Kenji. How people have decided to call you. Causes many problems. I'm not really in the mood. It's like a weird, impression of the Godfather then. I'm having a bad day? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of distracted right now. So distracted that it doesn't hit me until he leaves that his was actually kind of sound advice. I think Shizune would have given me the same suggestion. By then, it's too late to thank him politely. I always responded in the rudest tone possible. There you go. I just feel like an ass. You are an ass. You're a douche. You're a giant dick douche. Dick douche ash. Dick. Douche dick. In retrospect, these past few days I've regretted every action I've taken. The worst part is that I've taken the time to stew over them. I haven't taken the time. And in doing so, learn from them. This only has led to more regrets. So it turns out it is possible to be more distant from Shizune than it was before. The next morning, I'm getting dressed. I hear a knock at the door. Quickly putting on the rest of my clothes, I open it without really stopping to think about who it could be behind it. It turns out to be Shizune. Misha told me that you were looking for me. I'm a bit hurt that I don't even get a good morning, but it's not too big a deal. I was. But you found me yesterday. Shizune's fingers trace a crack in the wall. Seems like she's trying her best to look distant. Well, I didn't make it easy, did I? It's alright. That's why I'm here. We can talk today, although I kind of want to go somewhere else. What about class? It's fine, it's fine. How about we walk around the school? Everywhere except the main building is going to be deserted. The first period bell should be ringing right now. I take a quick glance at my watch and see that she's right. Okay. Is there something wrong? Why do you think there's something wrong? Because I slept with your best friend. Because you're obviously upset. I could just tell. It's what I wanted to talk to you about. Shizune quickly cracks her knuckles when I sign to her. Apparently I'm easier to read than I thought. I was trying hard to hide it. Can you tell what I'm thinking right now? You want to stab me. I don't respond, and Shizune heads towards the door, slowly enough that I can tell she wants me to follow her. Her hands are folded behind her back, which is arched against them, as though she's about to bend over backwards at any second. Outside, I see Shizune is right. The school is completely deserted. What is that yellow thing on the building? Although it's bugging me. I want to know what it is. Like, I want to know what it is supposed to be in the picture. It's not my first time seeing the school like this. It's kind of eerie. Shizune acts almost as though I'm not there, browsing a vending machine and taking a slow and winding path until we end up behind the main building. Finally, she leans against the wall and faces me, but it's like I've forgotten how to start a conversation. She's gonna tell you that she hates you now, by the way. Oh, God. There's a saying, you don't know how much you've screwed up until you screw up. Who says that? I guess it's me. Reconsidering her train of thought, she waves her hand in frustration. Okay, I'll put it differently. When I was younger, we had to make posters for Earth Day in school. There was another girl in my class whom everyone considered the best artist. It wasn't because she could draw better than everyone else. It was how much she could fit into a single picture. I wanted to be better than her, so I made countless posters until I ended up with the best possible one. I had to be the best, and have the greatest one. In the end, everyone liked my poster the most of all, even the teacher. A week later, it was meaningless. I threw it in the trash. I think I've told you something like this before. Yeah. When I feel like I'm finished, I wish I could just wipe the slate clean. Oh, here we go. Whether I succeeded or not, I put Misha through a lot, and even dragged you into it. And every point where I could have solved this silly situation, or prevented it from happening in the first place, keeps coming back to me. It's the worst feeling, especially when I feel like I've done nothing right and everything wrong. Like recently, it's the worst kind of failure. I feel like a failure on every level. I wish I could wipe away everything I've done and just be alone, since all I've done is mess with Misha for 2 years and jerk you around for a year for selfish reasons. It's fine. It's not really. I slept with your friend. It's okay. I get over. I win! I win! No, it's not. You don't understand. I was just thinking about it. Everything I do feels like I have to beat someone else. Everyone else, even. If that is how it is, then what are my relationships with people? They almost feel the same. I can see where this is going. The point is that I've messed up so many people by being selfish, and now I want to be away from other people for a while. Even me? There's a pause. Yes. Followed by an even longer pause this time from me. I see. That's the most selfish thing you could do. It's just you making another decision by yourself. For a minute, it looks as though she's considering the best way to respond, but in the end, she simply nods, which I think is the best way to respond anyway. It's very like her to be roundabout, even now, but ultimately without excuses. All my emotions simmer inside me. I see a kettle in front of me, water rolling inside it, so close that I can touch it and feel the heat radiating off of it. I'm glad for the distraction, because I know there's no recourse or bargaining possible. You told me that everything was fine, but it wasn't true, was it? I can't believe it. Ever again, then. Alright. Not even bothering to sign it, I stand up. My hands are in my pockets, fingering my loose change. The morning air is cold against my face. Ah. As I look back, I see she seems lonely. I'm reminded of myself. I've made that expression before. Maybe it's on my face right now. It feels like the image of such a lonely girl will stick in my mind forever. Every moment where I could have prevented this or solved the problem comes back to me. Makes me smile in a way without amusement. Oh, what's a sad ending? Jesus. What a nice picture to end on. I'll stop doing these. It makes me feel sad. Well, at least you get closure in that one, in that they break up. But she never found out about it then? She just broke up because she was fucking around with me the whole time and didn't really care? I don't know. That actually felt like a more complete ending than the good ending. At least there was like closure as opposed to just, well, maybe they're together, but I don't know. Who knows, huh? Who knows? But there you go. That is that for Shiznei. There's no more Shiznei stuff now. It's all done. All done and dusted. Next time, I'm going to be doing Emmy's route. Yep. So, until then, guys, I'll see you. Emmy, then probably Rin, then Lily last, probably. Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.